A man arrested for hunting hurricane relief workers, armed man. I kid you not. This is what rhetoric gets you. This is what happens. All right. In the wake of all these conspiracies pushed by the right, by MAGA, surrounding recent hurricanes and FEMA workers, a man with an assault rifle has now been arrested after reports of an armed militia hunting hurricane relief workers. The United States does not have, the hurricane relief workers are government officials. They were forced to flee a county in North Carolina. One man was, in fact, arrested after reports an armed militia was prowling around in trucks, quote, hunting for hurricane relief workers. Deputies later said they found no evidence of truckloads of men with guns, but did arrest a man armed with an assault rifle who allegedly threatened to, quote, mess up FEMA workers. On Saturday, the Washington Post reported on an email sent out by U.S. Forest Service officials warning relief workers that, quote, National Guard troops had come across 2 trucks of men saying they were out hunting FEMA. That email resulted in aid workers being evacuated out of Rutherford County. The county sheriff's deputies learned of a man armed with an assault rifle who had allegedly been making threats against workers in the area. He reportedly told a gas station attendant that he was going to mess up some FEMA personnel, end quote. William Jacob Parsons, 44, was arrested by Lake Lure police after the deputies tipped them off of his alleged threats. He was armed with a pistol and a rifle when police found him. He was booked on a $10,000 bond, which he posted. Parsons has since been released. A captain with the sheriff's department said they had investigated the claims about the militia, but determined there's no indication right now that there was a truckload of militiamen and that Parsons had acted alone. MSNBC's Joy Reid blames the fascist groundswell, mainly among white men, for Trump's recent surge in the polls. So here it is.
And in many ways, the disinformation campaign is working. Base Republicans today believe everything from Democrats secretly manipulating the weather from a secret base in Alaska to Trump being incapable of losing this election. He's winning in a landslide. And some Democrats are starting to believe the disinformation, too. Have you noticed how sharply the polls have shifted in Trump's favor over the last couple weeks? With these claims that Trump is surging with Black and Latino voters and leading in every single swing state, according to secret internal polls, despite all the Hitler talk. Yes, this race will be far too close. Because unfortunately, we do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country, mainly among white men, let's be clear, but in small pockets among Black and brown men, too. This happens to be a global phenomenon as women become more economically independent and seek positions of power.
I agree with almost everything Joy Reid said, except for there is a secret base in Alaska. Here's number 2.
But friend of the show, Simon Rosenberg, points out that just like in 2020 and 2022, dozens of right-wing polls have been dumped into the marketplace in the last few weeks, 12 in Pennsylvania alone. Those polls then swing the polling averages to the right, making Trump look strong and Kamala Harris look stalled. Now, there are lots of explanations for why you'd want to game the polls. Entrepreneurial Republican pollsters can certainly gain favor with Trump, who's apparently fuming about Vice President Harris's billion-dollar fundraising and positive press. And then there's the more sinister explanation that if Trump, Republican pollsters, and even jittery Democrats convince enough people that his victory is inevitable, how much easier would it be to claim that the election was stolen?
She makes great points. These are called push polls. Push polls. And the reason they're called push polls is because their actual function is to push a particular bias or candidate. They are not typically properly weighed. The statistical and demographic dynamics are not configured based on an appropriate data set of active voters that are likely to participate in the presidential election. They're heavily skewed with white males who are likely to vote Republican, et cetera. So they manipulate the back numbers in order to thus manipulate the numbers presented. These are push polls. They then will utilize these push polls, meaning the political candidate, i.e. Trump, to do a few things. One, to fundraise. Hey, I'm a winner. You need to go ahead and give me more money. All right. Two, obviously, to create the appearance of victory prior to. And naturally, what Joy Reid has said, you cannot dismiss the reality that these individuals will claim, look at the massive lead he had in whatever state. If it's close, if he loses, especially if he loses by a close margin, all of a sudden you set up the prerequisite argument for an insurrection again. And here's the irony of it. Republicans are the ones who will tell you polls are lies. Don't look at the polling data. But then we'll utilize that very same polling data in order to defend their position of political violence. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
It's all true. It's all true. And I almost find it scientific what Joy Reid is saying. The polls aren't. And the other thing is, if you are dejected, you've been through years and years of Trump trauma, I call it, you may decide, I'm not going to vote. Well, it's not even worth it. So I guess I just won't go. Not in Georgia, though. Record numbers, early voting already coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. Georgia is with it this time. I'm happy about
Fully
their
woke.
numbers. Yeah.